all the United States of the nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Approval of the consent agenda. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Anything you want pulled out? Okay, all those in favor, signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda is approved.
Great. This evening with a number of recognitions, and we're going to first start with 3 students and the Lions Club. This is Keith Ashley and so she's not here. Okay.
The Muskego Norway School Board hereby recognizes Elizabeth Middleton, a Baylane student, 8th grade, for first place win in the Muskego competition and a second place in the district level of the Lions Club International 2016 Peace Poster Contest. Elizabeth has demonstrated outstanding artistic talent, bringing honor to herself, her family, and the Muskego Norway schools and community. Congratulations. The Muskego Norway School District and School Board recognizes Andrew Larson, a Lake Danube Middle School 8th grade student, for a first place win in the Muskego competition in the Muskego Club's the Lions Club International 2016 Peace Poster Contest. Andrew Larson has demonstrated outstanding artistic talent, bringing honor upon himself, his family, and the Muskego Norway schools, as well as the community. Congratulations, Andrew. And then, Andy also wants to say a few words. So this is Andy Greenleaf from Muskego Lions Club, and if you want to step up to the microphone, you can turn that around to look at your shirt. Come on here.
And the president of the Muskego Lions Club. It is an honor for me to be here tonight to celebrate these young people who have participated in the Muskego Lions 7th annual Peace Poster Peace Essay Contest. Little history for everybody. 28 years ago, Lions Club International initiated a poster contest open to 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, showcasing their artistic talents and visual abilities. Each year continues. This year's theme is from local district, state, and international. The artwork created is unique and expresses the young artist's life experiences and culture through non-verbal methods. There is 1 grand prize winner and 23 American Award winners. Then 7 years ago, the Muskego Lions Club partnered with Dave Lane and Lincoln Newton Middle Schools to bring this contest to our middle school artists. This past year, we also welcomed in St. Leonard's School to participate. In that time together, we have showcased over 300 young artists and their vision for world peace. But this year, 90 participants participated this year. Several years ago, Lions Club entered in and introduced an essay contest for 11, 12, and 13-year-old visually impaired young adults, mirroring the Peace Posters theme. This year's theme is also Share Peace. General practice this year's local winner was Essay 1 and State Level. We have yet to hear our essays done at this time. This important project for our club will not work for parents who unconditionally love and encourage. Sherry Wells and Gina Rakowski, two our teachers, schools, and associate principals to our middle schools for their continued support. Carrie Olson for her faith in the essay contest and for contacting the parents. And Dr. Kelly Thompson for her encouraging words for this great partnership. And especially to Jenna, Elizabeth, Ellie, and visions of peace will surely help contribute to their successful futures. So with that, I really personally appreciate you participating in our Peace Poster contest. And you guys have got a lot of talent. I see the pictures and the posters, they're great. I'm not sure how many other people, how many other students are here tonight, but you guys did a great, wonderful job. So,
The Muskego Norway School Board congratulates Muskego High School teacher Jason Bretzman on being named by the Wisconsin Council of Social Studies as the Distinguished Teacher of the Year. This award to our full-time teacher of Social Studies who is recognized and nominated by his or her colleagues as an excellent social studies teacher. The teachers selected for this prestigious award use the social studies strategies that foster inquiry and also development of social studies while having an ongoing interest in developing his or her knowledge and skills in social studies instruction. The Muskego Norway School Board hereby commends Jason Bretzman for his outstanding teaching abilities that bring honor not only to himself, but the Muskego Norway community, and to his students that learn, grow, and succeed in possible future careers in social studies. Thank you, Jason.
thank you very much for this. I do appreciate it. This award is something with my name on it this year, but it's something that I think about the thousands of social studies teachers and other disciplines that are working hard and doing all kinds of great work every day. And so this is an award that their name's not on, but they should know they all appreciate all the work that they're doing for all of us. I thank you for this recognition today. And I also want to thank my colleagues who encouraged me and the administrative staff who allows these kinds of things to happen and the risk taking that each of us tries to do better education every day for our kids, and also my students, because without them, allowing the somewhat craziness to happen and the inquiry and the excitement, we couldn't do what we do. But mostly my family, Chris and Jack and Cooper, thanks. All the long hours, all the time you see me sitting with my computer and thinking up new things. Well, somebody noticed. So.
He asked me to wear the orange tie this year. So I did. The Muskego Norway School Board congratulates Supervisor of Building and Grounds, Jeremiah Johnson, on being named the Facility Manager of the Year by the Wisconsin Association of School Business Officials. In a distinct honor that you have been selected for this recognition by the organization composed of more than 420 school districts statewide. The Muskego Norway School Board is extremely pleased to commend you for your leadership in the Muskego Norway schools, the school community, his profession, and for his continuous interest in learning and growing through professional development opportunities. Thank you, Jeremiah.
I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity. I feel like I'm one of the few people in the world that really enjoys coming to work each day and loving working with all of you guys. I feel like I learn so much each day. Thank you to the school board for the opportunity. It seems like just a few years ago I was sitting in a miniature chair interviewing for the position. Thanks to Taylor who's got me. And I think about our department. I think about all the special things that we do as a department. And I think that one thing that really sets us apart is our ability to become part of the culture of each school. So, not just the rag-tag custodian that's, doing back calls someplace. Our guys are really going above and beyond to, reach out to kids and support teachers and what they're doing. And much like Jason, I've been thinking about my team and the things that they offer, and I know you guys see me all the time, so I just want to kind of talk through a little bit about the things that they're doing that are really special. So, Tim Gorecki's been with the district longer than I have. We used to work third shift together, but he also was fire captain for the fire department, so he really plays a key role in our safety program and ensuring that the safety of all of our schools is compliant. He recently took out old school bells throughout the building that were no longer being used and gave them to a special ed student that has an affinity for school bells, so that was just really cool. Brian's been with us for about a year and a half now. He was the assistant director of Park and Rec for Hales Corners, so he has just a huge variety of talents that he brings to the table. He too has been working with the students as kind of an at-risk student. So after school they go and lift weights together and just talk about life and really just encourages him. Bob George has been working at Test Corners for a couple of years now. We also worked in the district for a long time together. He's been doing reading interventions with students and a program called Power Rangers and another one called Inspector Gadget, where he's engaging students in just learning about safety and maintenance of buildings, and it's been a great thing. Frank has been with the district his entire life. Literally, he worked here. Are you? So, Frank knows every corner of every building in the district, and I really lend on him a lot for advice about what to do because he just knows the ins and outs. He's been through everything this district's had to throw at him, so it's just a great guy. And Mike is new to our team as a black speaker. He was an evening custodian, but now he's the head custodian of Muskego Elementary. He's managed a 32-unit apartment complex, and in addition to that, when you walk through the halls of Muskego Elementary, you hear kids chanting, "Mr. Mike, Mr. Mike," and he gives out a gold dustpan to students for having clean classrooms. So I just wanted to recognize my team and know that, this is great, but without a great team, this doesn't happen. So, thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Schrader, for joining me in all those wonderful recognitions. Our next superintendent item is our annual report to the board from our school resource officer. So actually we have 4 chairs right there for you if you'd like to have a seat. And whoever's speaking first, you want to grab the microphone and you can pass it along as you share. Oh, is there? Okay, good. So if you want to introduce the team to the group, that would be great first.
Good evening. My
Craig Smuchek. I'm the services lieutenant, special service lieutenant, and I oversee the school resource officers. Also present is Officer Candace Henderson, Eric Milligan, and Aaron Cortese. We're here to give you some insight as to how the year's been going up to this date and to discuss the newly formed annual report that is basically a work in progress. But thanks Candace, she built a template for us and we're just trying to get some of the bugs out. So that's kind of where we're at now. I did print out the copies of everything we have up to this point, a little later if you wish. And I'll just turn it over to Officer Anderson.
So, like we said, we're starting to staff it, it's been something for a few years. But, if you're interested, you can, pass along that information. When we do it, we compile it, the staff can report them to our boss and then to our business. So the information is, already out there, professionally well. Not much has changed as far as I'm concerned at the high school, still doing the same thing, we can do the past several years. I'm there handling things that happen during school. But I thought I would touch base on a couple, things that are changing, in the process of changing since all the school boards are the same. So rather than reporting the same thing as last year. So, tonight, we're still continuing to increase the districts. Last year, we got, 4 so far this year. I think we might end up at the same, 6 or 7 this year, depending, but right now, we're up here in track with that. We're also looking into, in the future, a possible police department and staff, school shooter scenario training. We haven't worked out all the bugs yet, but we do have a committee that we're working with the school district on figuring out how that can happen. And, lastly, we have started, some new procedures for our lockdown drills. We are now, calling them as the, resource officers as opposed to having a planned event, which is coordinated with the leaders in the building. So basically, the administrators don't know when the lockdown drill is going to. They've been given the codes on how to do that. They've been explained, how this should occur at the staff meetings. And, after they call the lockdown drill, because they can have that ability, if they see something and there's no time to call the office, they can call and put the school on lockdown, and then they are required to call 911 and let the dispatcher know what's going on, so help can be on the way. Then the officers will respond to the building and, come in through various instances. The officers know that the drill is going to be occurring. We also let, the police department, ours and the county know, so in case they're getting a bunch of calls. And in addition, we send, an email out to parents, letting them know right when it's happening that, okay, we are doing a drill, so if their child is getting a hold of them and saying, oh my gosh, we're in lockdown, the parent has, an email that says, no, it's just a drill, we're okay. And that's pretty much about it for the new procedures. We've done high school so far, and, since we're the biggest entity, we thought we'd start there, but then this will be done at all of the other schools as well.
Not much for that add. Pretty much everything on my GSD is still the same as last year. The little thing to build on was close to Jeremiah and his crew. We have meetings, I think about 4 times a year with the safety meeting to train things and discuss things at each school, including the elementary schools, and to just train them to do things, make sure everybody's safe and secure there, tweak some things that we find that need tweaking, and we're very
that they know where they're going during any time, during any of our drills, just to ensure we didn't change some locations, based upon how many people in classrooms had report, to that particular one person, just so that we
Any questions from the board?
You are right. If you weren't there in the morning, you would have run over and said, just thinking that our kids like from the school, that's how it is. So, thank you. In general, I think the fact that you're present, that pride and professionalism, your uniform, standing there at the podium with what you show, the parents drop off, pick up, the kids, they see you, that deterrent is unquestioned. And so, thank you for doing that. I know it's not, I see you there. People, they're out here having that, grown adults, get on the parking lot. But I appreciate that. But in general, I have a question that's more toward this for all three of you, but probably more from Kansas. So at the high school, because that's what we're focused on, we are substantive use over the past year. On the random year analysis testing, we down to parking permit holders. We've increased as far as the personal search, right? Security order where we have greater opportunity to research. And for the canines going into the classroom, we're searching for some belongings. Okay. So with that, I guess, we see the data on the results of the urinalysis testing, and we see the data on the results of the canine searching. But from your perspective, and yours is being at high school, but as just the police force in general, what are your thoughts? Are we getting the right? I mean, are we getting the right mark? Are we instituting these policies right? Are we heading in the right direction? Are we getting the right people?
Well, I think because it's random and you're only testing a certain slice of the pie each time, I don't think that we're necessarily getting everyone. I think that the parking permit helps, but yet a lot of the kids who are partaking in the illegal activities may not be involved in sports or extracurricular activities to put them in that pool. However, with parking permits, I think that really does help. But again, it's very random. I'd really love to go and say, test that one, but I don't think you can. So it's kind of hit or miss whether we really get them or not. But I think that, the testing and the canine searches and stuff too, there's no way to tell, what we're not catching. And if it is ever getting into school, I think that's first. I mean, obviously we don't want the kids partaking in these illegal activities first and foremost. However, I think with the upped canine, with these increased other procedures that we have in place, I think it's helping. But how do you prove that? Because you can't say, well, did you not bring your drugs to school today because you knew that you could get caught, or are you not doing drugs? There's no way to quantify the things. You can catch it, you catch.
So you think it's a deterrent?
I think it is, definitely. I think it is.
So the policies that we have in place is not very easier, able to figure out or what the gap that you can do the means to intervene before the issue would happen.
I like the policies. I definitely think it helps. I think that anything that we can do to try to not be involved in drug activity, drinking, things of that nature, is beneficial. But I think that by adding the parking permits this year, I think that was a huge step in the right direction. I wish that we could just say everybody can go to school here, we test everybody, throw their name in the hat. Unfortunately, we can't do that. I know, I wish we could do that, but, sometimes we have to, work with what's, given to us. And I definitely think that the parking permits was a step in the right direction.
Thank you.
I key one for me, which Kelly can attest to, was the driving in the parking lot. The school lets out. It seems to have died down, so it's more acceptable. So I appreciate that. I just know a few times that I did have to go to school, it was not a pretty sight. So thank you for everything you do. Help keep our kids safe and try and keep everything going well in the schools.
Candace, first, did you say we're going to have some statistics?
Yes, on them that we track, off the top of my head, drug arrests, unrepaired contacts, how many dare classes these guys teach, just a whole bunch of, there's a form that the district has that we worked on together, and we kind of fill in the blanks on that. There's no stats from last year, blanks for this year, so there's really no comps from last year. The only comparables you would have at this point would be from quarter one to quarter two.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. We seem to be, everything else is data based.
The hard thing is I mean, if you have, 6 drug arrests this year and, 2 next year, why is that? You can't say why that is. I can't, I had a year where we were going gangbusters because I had some wonderful people who liked giving me information, let's just say, and they were right all the time. However, I don't have anyone that's giving me that much useful information, so I'd have to say that number would go down.
Okay, thank you. One other question then for your cohorts there. I think in years past, we've talked about the DARE program. Where do we stand with the DARE program right now? We're still implementing it. Have we found anything to take its place? Or
Yeah, we're still, both each had getting added to, and we incorporated the middle schools as well. Sometimes there's a funding issue. We do some DARE Brewer game to help fundraise, but that's always a sticking point for us. We make do every year. We're like barely making it, but we do it. We got some help, so very generous people to help fund that, including with the school board, part of the CRD participating as well. So that's gonna help.
One of the things dealing with the DARE program is, I know it's like my second year doing it, September meeting, I was very new to it, was at that point I hadn't received the essays, but last year's DARE essays and this year's DARE essays, I couldn't tell you how many students in their DARE essay write, DARE is my favorite class, I wish it could go longer than 10 weeks. So, I mean, they're definitely taking something from it. I'm sure that they all want to have the pitch at the Brewer team for our DARE Brewer games. That's one incentive on it. And I was actually very surprised to hear how many staff members were winners of DARE essay contests back when they were attended DARE. I don't know how many of you guys have actually taken their pen in DARE, but a lot of our staff members actually were DARE essay winners, which I think has a lot to show that they've been successful people and they're doing the right things.
is the program in general as effective as it has been? Is it more effective? Is it less effective? Is it?
I focus more so I think it's more so focused on the overall decision making, which is something that even when when I talk to them regarding any of their behaviors that I'm assisting with, I use their decision making model, which is defining what their problem, challenge, and then they assess. Of course, every choice is a positive and negative consequence, and then they've got to spell those out. Where are they? And what's going to be the best choice, and then ultimately they're then going to respond and then evaluate, like could I have done things different? So that means much choice out there. So I actually use that in talking to them for almost anything when we're having any behavior-related issues that I might assist with, or in passing, like if somebody comes to a problem, comes to me with a problem, like I actually have a book on the side of my desk, and it's just something, where it's just a reminder where I think even adults could use that.
Just to touch on that real quick, I know it's hard to, give a statistic on how many kids go to a special thing. But there's something to be said about, being in the classroom with young kids, having them come up to you later. In every aspect, anywhere you go, make that consistent. That's the, when you see somebody, you get the bad, media about a kid who, makes a bad choice and either overdoses or there's an arrest in a law. I know it affects me, it really bothers me when I see a pastor that ends up making a bad choice. Doesn't happen too often, but enough where, it actually kind of rattles my cage for a couple days that, wow, this kid was on here. So that's, trying to prevent obviously. And I think we're all pretty passionate about it. And fortunately, can't be there 24/7 or overhead through life choices. But we had 0 hits with drug dogs at the middle schools. So that's not how what this whole thing continues. And I know, working at Bay Lane, years ago, there was a big middle school. They actually brought in the officers to help out. As kids were bringing cigarettes, we used to find alcohol bottles or pine trees in the parking lot that they would drink. And since we've been doing that for 15, 20 years, so that shows I think something's working. Parents, on the other hand, is a different story. And for the kids is good.
I think one other important thing that I actually go into classrooms, I went into classrooms this year for our 6th graders and just touched on a lot of our social media and how it affects them, long term. Just because they are getting more, and we teach there at the 5th grade level. But I think social media is affecting a lot of them at the 6th grade level, it seems, 6th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So I have gone in with our guidance counselor on how it, affects them and how some of the things that they're saying and doing on any computerized device, whether it's outside of school or inside of school, how things that they're, if they're having differences with, classmates or peers of theirs, how it's affecting their learning day inside of school when they all return. And so we did all 6th grade classes one afternoon and went over the same thing, as far as, from my standpoint of things on how if they continue to do this on what should be acceptable and unacceptable behavior when it comes to a telephone, and when we have, laws when they reach an adult life, on harassment and unlawful use of a telephone, and how sometimes that can be a very fine line, and let's make the right decisions now, and how they're really never protected behind a screen, whereas they don't know who's on the other side on some of these apps that they're using, when it could be a sex offender. So it's almost everything that I do is a safety, something to protect them in the long run.
Thank you.
I've got one more thing. I know, it's over my head here. So what in general, the dating, and I'm assuming this is more an issue for the high school.
It's a big issue for the high school.
Yeah.
It's a very big issue.
So we have a policy that says no.
Right?
Now, is there anything else that can be done?
No.
Okay, so.
It's very frustrating. I looked at my tickets for it. I think that well, we're not there. We
And you
tried
can't write tickets, why?
because it's not, it doesn't meet the criteria for our ordinance.
So you have no ordinance against,
We don't, it's not tobacco.
in the schools.
It's not tobacco. There may be nicotine in it. I cannot test to see if there's nicotine in it because we test to see if there's marijuana in it.
Okay.
But there's no test ever for nicotine. And there's this citation is for tobacco, but not for nicotine. So I don't have a citation I can write. The school takes the device away and, they give the parent the opportunity to go pick it back up. But we don't give it back to the kids.
Are there communities that have
Yes,
ordinances against us?
Yes.
That you can, that give
We
you
tried.
the power to issue a citation? Okay.
yes. We met with the chief And, we went to a meeting at the beginning of the school year, and, we were really close, really close, but then in the,
Okay.
11th hour, it didn't happen for us.
Anything else? Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead.
Lieutenant, when will we see some numbers from the high school? Yeah, that'd be fine.
Thank you so much for your time. Okay, we'll transition it now to a conversation around conservation. We actually were approached by the Whitnall Park Rotary. So tell me if you want to get this. Whitnall Park Rotary earlier in the year asking if there would be some projects that they could help support. They kind of the Whitnall Park Rotary serves Muskego, Greenfield, Hills Corners, and Greendale, and they've done a number of different things in different communities, and they haven't been in the Muskego area for a while, so they had asked if we could think of something. So, of course, the first person that came to my mind was Tom Zager, because yes, he works at the city, and so Tom, if you want to come up also, and Sherry Schultz, who's been a great support with the conservation area at Engel. And so the conversation came around, is there some property here on Muskego High School that could, support the conservation? And so Jeremiah will give just a little bit of an overview, if you don't mind, and then we can turn it over to Tom and then Sherry, who's a high school science teacher. So Jeremiah, can you give some background? And unfortunately, the Rotary representative was unable to attend. Obviously, very supportive of this project.
So we have 12 acres behind what is our baseball diamonds and also practice football field over there. It's really unusable space at this time, and within Board Docs, you'll find the layout of that space in particular.
And there's also a hard.
So Kelly started facilitating the conversation along with the Rotary and Tom, and really progressed to the possibility of having a conservation area on our property that could serve as an outdoor teaching space with relatively no cost to the district, other than mowing a few times during the summer and the initial weed spray. So with the details of that, I'll just let Tom kind of talk.
I manage the next door Engel Conservation Area, as well as about 500 acres of conservation land that's city owned. And Engel Conservation Area is our largest. It's currently the addition of 12 more acres next to it would create a conservancy area of 165 acres. And ecologically, large areas like that conservancy of restored land are of greater value to wildlife. The other thing is we already have hiking trails through there, and we do take groups out there, and one of which is the science club. Ms. Schultz's science club has been outstanding in participating in projects, and I love going out with those kids and doing interpretive walks in the Engel Conservation Area and other areas in the city. So basically, for me, it's expanding conservation within our community. That's my big motivation. And at the same time, it can connect to Engel Conservation Area. It's more proximate for the science club and science classes to utilize as an outdoor classroom area. This land right now is growing just basically low quality vegetation. It was fallow agricultural land, and we could make it into much better. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has a grant program that is very easy to work with, and they have offered to fund this, and I'm sure you have that agreement, you've seen that. And I suggest you take advantage of that and utilize this area. Now the area is largely wetlands and slopes, so it is, as far as the buildability of it, when the athletic complex was built, this was pretty much built out to the most buildable land, and this remains. So I think it's a great use for this 12 acres. Spot. There's an
hopefully supporting this project because I think it's like something that's well worth it. I also want to thank our science students and science programs for being here tonight and support also. They're very in favor of restoring this land for school use, and I think that's super important. So obviously, not only students benefit, but teachers would too, because, as Tom mentioned, this would be an awesome outdoor laboratory for science classes and commerce classes as well. Right now, Tom has many different prairie areas kind of around the city of Muskego, and this would be one other area that would add native prairie students too, so I think that would be wonderful. Right now, there are some science teachers that already utilize the areas around the high school. But what Tom's talking about is really restoring an area that's, for the most part, unusable. And I think that this will be just adding to that area for use in as a classroom. And of course, students who might not otherwise visit natural areas will have an opportunity to get outdoors. We know that well-documented benefits from that physical, mental, and spiritual benefits from that area. And of course, we offer students the opportunity to be involved in things like not only nature, but in their community as well. Tom and I have talked about offering things up to the scouts and making scouting projects available for students as well, which I think is wonderful. And then, of course, just the ownership that students take in an area like this would be terrific. Year after year, students would be able to have these opportunities and also pass along their work ideas to other students. So this would be something that we perpetuate as a tradition and maybe as heritage takes hold in our school where students really take pride in this area. And of course, here's Tom Sager presenting one of his wonderful talks to our students out at Engel Conservation Area. And so we know that the land, I think, is super important, and I think that Muskego want to perpetuate conserving the land and conserving our resources. And I think no better place than to start with our own school property. And so, as also said, a land ethic changes the role of all of us. We move from just being a conqueror to somebody who actually respects and cares for the land. So I think that's important to instill in all of us and all of our students. And so, just a picture of our science club as we went up to Engel in the fall with Tom, harvesting some blueberry seeds so that he can spread them throughout the city. But one of our goals, or many of our goals, I think, as a science club, is to create some walking trails and trail markers, as we've seen at Engel. Perhaps constructing bluebird boxes, conducting water sampling, and spring frog surveys, and obviously to work to restore native plants and animal species, which I think is critical today. And so native plants, of course, allowing students outdoor creating habitats important for all of our species is what our goal is. And as I mentioned, marking and maintaining trails and scout projects. All of these pictures, by the way, are our students. They're not just incorporated from other places, but these are our students actually out doing good things for our community. So overall, I think that this project is good for our students, good for our land, and good for our future. So we hope you will support us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Board members, do you have any questions or thoughts or concerns or anything that we could address for you? Again, we're just really excited to work with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, as well as the Rotary, as well as the city, and then the district obviously is the benefactor of all of this.
The initial and then you just need us to, you said, Jeremiah, just mow it a couple times a year.
Correct, yeah. For the initial pesticide out of August, and we'll get back that are certified impacts. I just want to add too, we all hear the term blue ribbon floating around all the time, but last year we applied for the Green Ribbon Award, so they give us feedback to say if we get it or we didn't, say we didn't. But we're doing great for
community, but the one better back for us to have outdoor conservation areas, so it's gonna help us in our West Jimmy Green as well.
So a question I have is, we talk acres. So once if we do apply and receive grant money for that 12 acres, is it basically signing away that 12 acres for any other potential use in the future? Because it's not all wetlands, some of it is prairie. And the reason I ask is, I'm looking at your, several years ago, if you see the softball field on the far left side of that picture, we had talked about that area right to the east of it, using that, possibly at some point in time for an additional field. So my question is, if we're locked in because of the grant to never being able to, and I'm just talking about the yellow portion that would probably follow the contour of the other field. I kind of drew it on here if you want to take a look at it. It's probably an acre or less. Okay. This area right here.
I understand.
That we had talked about possibly using. So if we were to get grant money, would be signing off on that property that we could not at least that section. And if that is the case, we may want to just look at just taking that 1 acre off, but leave this prairie land and of course the trails in there, just so we don't tie our hands with future expansion of our athletic fields.
I think there's in the agreement, it's a 10-year, you have to leave the improvements in for 10 years, I think it is. And we don't have to see that entire area. Furthermore, I want to look at the wetland delineation that was done, because I think the lawn area now, with the developed mode area, which is outside of this project area, is the extent of the uplands, and it slopes down immediately, and then right below that is wetland side.
Yeah,
You go out to the site, I don't think
you're probably correct on that, because I think what we had talked about in the past was asking to, I forgot what you guys call it, when you repurpose wetlands to a different area. Mitigate, yes. We were talking about possibly asking the DNR to mitigate that, about that 1 acre area to another area in order to save that for possible sports facilities in the future. So we still might want to think about, even though that might be wetland, we might want to think about keeping that acre portion, and you'd still have 11, and it would still allow for your trails to come through. But just in case we decide at some point that we need that for sports facilities, and the DNR does allow us to mitigate it, we might want to just think about keeping that 1 acre or so.
I think there's provisions that if you would accept money from the Fish and Wildlife Program, and I'll have to check with Kurt for this, that you should decide that you need to use that land for another purpose. It would merely be paying back the minimum, not a very large amount of money that you utilize for that portion. And so, I think there's ways.
It's a $3,000 grant, from what I understand, so if they never enforced it, they stepped out, if we decide 2 years from now that this isn't working out, that they would ask that we pay that back, but they never forced it. And I guess if we're taking an acre of that back, then for that time, maybe it would be $100 or something that we would take that back. So they've been very loose with all of our terms because we shot all of our legal documents through our attorney, and within very short periods of gal signed that. So it seems like a very loose agreement on the part of the foresters. It's really been a great source for funding for projects, conservation projects. I think very easy to work with Nick or a federal program on that. That is entirely different.
Maybe we could just ask that question, because that's the only concern I have out of the 12 acres. The other 11 are, I think, are fairly unusable for any type of field or building. So I would have
Anything else?